it's good to see people. Lost my wife and nowhere's open and came the pandemic. She couldn't even have a decent funeral. That's just sad. Thank you.
Well, welcome, Ron. We're open and we're here for you. Any other new members or guests that I missed? Okay. I got a call yesterday from a young man. I say he's a young man. His daddy was Al Greenway. Maybe you knew him as Gordon Greenway. He was a member here for several years. His son found a card. He was before my time. Gordon has passed, and his funeral will be in Tucker. If anybody remembers Gordon and wants that information, just check with me after the meeting. I'll probably pop in, but do check with me. And now for some good news. Johnny Wyndham, longtime member here and officer on the board, was in the hospital for 5 weeks with COVID. And then he was in rehab for 2 weeks, and now he's home. And the lesson there is never write off an old Marine. There was a period of time where we didn't think Johnny was going to make it, but he made it. And in point of fact, they wanted him to stay a couple of extra days in rehab. And I understand from his wife that he deployed some Marine vocabulary, and they told him he could go ahead and go home. Also today, those of you that know Daniel McFalls, he's a young Marine that we have here, was in a very horrible motorcycle accident. His pelvis looks like a bunch of kitchen appliances stapled together when you look at the x-ray. And he's had a kind of rough go over the last several months. Today he took his first steps since the accident. It looked like he was doing the big shoe dance with the walker, but he got out and walked a little. And the lesson there is never write off a young Marine either. And so good for the Marines. I note in the back that Bill Nelson is here. Bill Nelson also came through COVID, and we appreciate the Marines for fighting COVID for all of us. Again, I want to thank Shane's Rib Shack for the meal tonight and the auxiliary for decorating the hall. As I said, I think all of us can use a little extra holiday cheer this year. And so to that end, I want to talk to you a little bit about, before we get to the other stuff in the meeting, who it is that we're helping at this time of year. I don't think many of you have the opportunity that we here on the stage do to get to know the people that we're helping. You hear us talk about the fact that we're helping veterans, but you don't get to know much about them, and you certainly don't get to know their faces the way we do, and it's a privilege to get to know to do that. So who are we currently helping right now today? We have a 29-year-old Army veteran. He was an industrial electrician by trade, lost a child, lost his wife, all in one fell swoop, and lost himself for a while. And he wandered into Loganville and decided that he liked the look of this place and he liked the weather here. It was a warm day, not right now, and wanted to stay. And so he started applying for jobs, and he popped in to see if we could help him with just some temporary housing. And that's what we're doing. We're helping house that young man. We've given him some referrals for jobs. He's got a part-time job now working for a local company, and he's interviewing, and we're putting him up in Wits Inn while that's going on. And so there's a 29-year-old Army veteran that we're helping. Another Army veteran, 30-something, she wouldn't tell me. Go figure. She lost her job in Indiana, and she hit the internet. She's a motivated young lady, super motivated, and she got a job in Gwinnett County, Georgia. She'd never even heard of it. And so she decided that made her functionally homeless. She had work here, and so she reached out across the Veterans Homeless Network, and they hooked her up with our partners at Operation Rally Point. And we're housing her, and we fed her a couple of times, and we'll feed her again. She is working, and until she gets paid, she's living in Wits Inn, and we're helping foot that. We had a 33-year-old Marine with his wife and child. He had an autistic son with him. They live here locally, and they got put out of their home because of mold. And their landlord wasn't doing immediate mold remediation, and so they found themselves briefly living in their van. And we put them up, and then we reached out to our partners and we got them hooked up with some permanent housing. A 49-year-old Marine who I hoped would be here tonight was severely injured in a car accident. We've helped Johnny now for several weeks. We've provided him food here and there. We've put him up when he can't afford it himself. He's working here and there and he gets a little money in and then he pays and we're doing that. We've provided him with some counseling out of here. There's many of us here who have provided him some guidance. We've provided him with food assistance and some temporary housing. This week, we helped a 60-year-old Army veteran, Army National Guardsman, who within the span of a couple of months lost his job because of COVID, lost his wife because of a divorce, and found himself living outside. And he found his way here, and he was living in our pavilion. And after a couple of days, we started talking to him, and we realized that, this was a veteran. And so we put him up, and we started referring him. And so yesterday, he had a long meeting with a counselor from Walton County Family Services. And today, Fish reached out and offered him a job. And so I called this man today, and he's going to work for Fish at their local store, making $10 an hour, and they're going to pick up his room until he gets paid for the first time. At Thanksgiving, on Wednesday, we got a phone call from a young man who was frantic. He was trying to get home to cook dinner for his mom and dad. And because of COVID, flight schedules, and because of weather and all those things, he wasn't going to make it in time. We took a meal to his mom and dad, and we delivered it Thanksgiving Day to them, and they were able to have a Thanksgiving meal. His dad's a bedbound Army veteran who we've helped on a couple of occasions through the years. And I just thought you should know that that's what we're doing with your money, right? That's the kind of work that we're doing here. When I talk about the work, it's not bingo. That's what funds it. The bingo work funds all of that. But we're helping real people, real people. We're helping and we're trying to make their lives better. All right. So speaking of making people's lives better, take this down. December 7th, a day that will live in infamy, we're going to meet right here in this hall at 10 a.m. if you're available. And we're going to do a buddy check. We have about 620 members of this post, and we're going to call them all. If you're here, we won't call you, I promise. I won't promise. We might call you. You get home and there'll be a message. You might have left it yourself. Who knows? But we're going to go through the list, and we're going to call every number we have, and we're just going to check on folks. And we're not trying to get them to come in. We're not trying to talk them into paying their dues. We're just checking on people and asking, what can we do to help you? Are you okay? Is there anything that the post can do right now for you? I said when I became commander that we needed to focus more on our members because we say we help veterans, and here we are. The most of us here are veterans, and the people that are members that aren't here are veterans, and we need to make sure that we're helping those people. So we're going to reach out to everyone and see what can we do. So that's December 7th at 10 a.m. Bring your cell phone, bring your charger. We'll have cords here for you to charge, and then we'll provide the lunch. All right, and the person heading that up is Roy. So if you want to volunteer tonight, reach out to Roy. If you want to just show up that day, that's fine too. Show up and we'll give you a list of folks to call. If you're on the live stream out there and you don't want to come in, but you do want to call, please email us or call the post, and we'll send you a list, and we'll make sure that you get a chance to call folks. I know that you're furiously trying to tell me it's not working, but it's actually working under another link. So folks will be able to go back and see it. So district news. We had the caravan since our last meeting. So right after we had our last meeting, we had a district meeting here at the post. It was very small intentionally. There were only 3 people allowed from each post. And we did the caravan, and we succeeded in getting through another year of the state looking at our paperwork, which is great news. Department news, we're working our way up the chain here. Again, if you need to go to department for any reason, if you have some reason you need to go down and see the people at the department headquarters, please call and make an appointment. They're not open all the time because of COVID. They will see you, but you need to let them know that you're coming. I want to mention again the temporary financial assistance. I know many of you do not have children at home, but you may have children who are members of the Legion or grandchildren who are members of the Legion that have children at home. The American Legion, through the Temporary Financial Assistance Program, is distributing $1,500 at a pop to eligible active duty military and American Legion members in need, right? So you have to be a Legion member or you have to be active duty and you have to have a child in the house. And those funds are designed to help meet the cost of shelter, food, utilities, and health expenses. Is all part of children and youth through the American Legion to make sure that we're doing our part to make sure the children of veterans have stable homes. In Legion National news, this is so exciting today. Who's a NASCAR fan? Anyone has a NASCAR fan here? Wow, okay, for the two of you, American Legion National announced this morning at a major press conference that the American Legion will be sponsoring Jimmy Johnson next year. So you'll see our logo emblazoned on his car, whoop, and you'll see it's for the American Legion National. They believe that this is a big marketing push, and I applaud them. Speaking of national, again, we have volunteered to host the National Commanders Visit here in February. I will keep you posted as we hear anything more about that. Okay, that's all the announcements I have. On to the really business of the meeting. So I'm going to bring up the finance officer to talk to you about the finance officer's report. I hope everyone picked one up.
Good evening. I'm only going to talk about where we are right now so far as our balances are concerned, and then during new business we will go over the proposed budget. So right now we have in our checking account $43,487. In our savings account we have $1,605, and our line of credit that is available is $45,033. Like I said, we're going to go over all the facets and things of the budget that we have been working on for the last month, 6 weeks, 2 months, whatever, when we get to the new business. Any questions? Or I know you don't have enough there right now to know what's going on. I'll raise this a bit. Okay, that's my report, sir.
So the key thing there, before I ask for a motion, when he announced that we have $45,000 available on the line of credit, we opened that line of credit to do this floor, and we did that back at the beginning of this year. And roof for the Scout building, right? Yeah, so we did the roof of the Scout building, we did this floor. That's the balance that we've paid down. So since we reopened in June, we've paid down $45,000. We have a balance remaining on that of $29,000. And so that's an important distinction I want you to understand. That $45,000 is what we have available to us to draw on if we need it. But the actual balance on that loan is only $29,000, okay? All right, so I'm looking for a motion for that very brief finance officer's report to approve that pending audit.
So moved.
I have a motion, do I have a second? I have a second. Any discussion on the finance officer's report, not the budget, we'll get there. All right, all in favor of approving the report, please raise your right hand. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, committee reports. Post operations and membership. Roy, you want to give us a membership update?
We have 389 renewed, including new members, and 24 lifetimes, for a total of 413.
413, that's the important number. We're at 413 right now, which puts us at about 66%, which is pretty good actually, given COVID and everything we're going through. So our hope, of course, is by July to be up at 100%. Thank you, sir. Legion Riders, Artie Brown, you want to give us a rider's report? You can come right up to this mic, sir, right up here.
All right, good evening. All right, the riders, we're still standing tall. Presently we got about 54 members, and we're always looking for and adding on to our roles.
The light's not on.
Americanism, we had 13 riders for 1,055 miles in 101 hours. For Thanksgiving, we sponsored 6.
Technical break here. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, for Thanksgiving, we ended up sponsoring 6 families in the community. So that was a good community event for us. And we're looking at sponsoring 4 families for Christmas. And we also supported 4 flag lines, and we'll continue supporting our veterans out there with these requests for when it comes to flag lines and escorts. 5 December, coming up this Saturday, we're going to be taking part in the Loganville Christmas Parade. That's one annual event, and we'll be taking a role in that. 12 December, we'll be partnering up with one of our sponsors, Army Navy store in Snellville, for Operation Toy Soldier, where we'll be on the street collecting funds, toys, in support of Operation Toy Soldier in Snellville. And that'll be from 11 o'clock to 5 o'clock. 19 December, we'll be supporting Wreaths Across America. We haven't finalized where we're going to be laying wreaths, but we're going to take that event this year, because normally all of these events usually happens. These events usually happens on the same day, and this is the first year that we'll be freed up on that day to support this event. We still have the ongoing gun rifle still going on, with the scheduled drawing date is December 31st. So if you haven't got your tickets yet, better get your tickets while they're out there. I know that the commander, he said something about one of our riders that was in an accident, and he took his first walk today. He was having some problems getting some equipment, and the riders, we went ahead and stepped up and we assisted him. He's a veteran, he's one of ours, and we went ahead and helped him out, and it's really helping them out. And that's what we're all about, is as a one family, you should be helping out your family members. And Commander, that is my report.
Thank you, sir. So while Fritz is getting fresh batteries for the microphone, I do want to briefly mention that one of the flag lines that the riders supported this time was for Larry Hammond. Larry was a state level officer. He was the state director of the ALR, who passed away after a long battle with cancer. And I know our riders were there. I got to talk to the widow when I went. I know our color guard also pulled off a very last minute sort of thing for them, and I appreciate that. Okay, well, we're still waiting for a minute. So I guess I'll go ahead and we'll jump ahead here just a minute because I'm next anyway. Let's talk about the oratorical. So the oratorical program will look a little different this year. They're going to do what they've done in years past, only they're going to sort of collapse it. For those of you that don't know, the oratorical normally wraps up in the spring. So it starts here in the winter, and then it wraps up at National at spring. And so last year, because of COVID and everything shut down in Indiana where they normally have nationals, they just gave out $2,500 to all of the finalists. So the finalists from each department, each state got $2,500, which was real nice. And now the young man that for us has won our local oratorical the last 2 years running and gone on to represent us at both district and area to some repute, is now going to go ahead and represent us again. So we're not going to have a local competition this year here at the post. Instead, we're going to go ahead and send the same young man that we've sent the last couple of years in the hopes that he beats the snot out of the people that come from the other posts. So that's the objective. You go ahead, Fritz. We're just talking here amongst ourselves. Sons of the American Legion. There's nothing really much to report with the Sons of the American Legion. Could I get a show of hands for the Sons members and the dual members? Okay, so if you've not paid your dues for this year, since I am still the commander of the Sons, we'd like to have your dues. But by the same token, we are still looking for some new leadership. In other words, someone to replace me as the commander of the Sons. That would be delightful. And so if anyone knows of young folks who are interested, please send them along. All right, so let's see, what else can we talk about while we're waiting? You got it? All right.
Carry on.
Carry on. Blood drive, Mr. Mahaffey.
At our last blood drive on 11/19, we had 37 good donations, and I want to thank everybody that came out and donated. And our next drive will be February the 11th in 2021, so hope to see all of you there. Thanks.
Thank you, Jerry. I was not able to donate, and I thought Jerry was going to make fun of me that day because I got deferred for iron, but it turns out that he got deferred for iron, so we were alone in our misery there together.
Yes, we were.
Maintenance, buildings, and grounds, Michael Burbo.
Just have a little bit I want to report on. If you'll notice, we have some maintenance needs to be done in this floor in here where some equipment has scraped it. I have been in touch with the folks who did the floor, so he's supposed to set me up with some stain so I can go ahead and stain them areas and recover it with a thing they call hard as nails. Not what you put on your fingers. Something else I want to look at doing. I have some maintenance that needs to be done off the back porch out here, which I'm going to wait till it gets a little warmer. And we still have to redo the steps in the train building. So all that's going to happen here soon, I hope. Another thing we're going to need to look at down the road is I would still like to see us get some sort of heat in the pavilion building because we have to keep going out there and turning water on so the pipes don't freeze. And that's about it.
I think it's worth noting for those of you that haven't heard this before, and I know pretty much everyone here has, Mike and the folks that help him do a tremendous job. Bob came in, who came from another post and looked around here and said, wow, I'm going to take a picture and send it to the post commander where I came from. This is a beautiful facility, and the reason it stays a beautiful facility is because of Mike and the people that help Mike keep it up, and we appreciate them. All right, baseball. There's no current report on baseball because it's cold. I did, however, reach out to the lady that runs the baseball team that we have supported in the past. She herself is recovering from COVID. That baseball team that we sponsored came out here and helped take down the crosses. And in the words of the folks who take down the crosses, it was amazing. 45 minutes start to finish. How long? 25 minutes start to finish. Do I hear 15? Anyway, those kids came up here and they whipped those crosses out of the ground. They got them took apart. They stacked them neatly. They were polite. They were courteous. Baseball kids are good kids. And it will be our pleasure to support them again this year. Special events. Stan, do you want to give us a brief anything on the Veterans Day?
Sure.
We haven't met since then. Thank you, sir.
Just want to say for you that didn't make it to our Veterans Day ceremony, you missed a good one. It was also on YouTube. So a lot of people all the way across the United States was able to watch that. I had some fellow Bushmasters that actually called me from Oklahoma, from Florida, from Louisiana, all across the United States. People were able to watch that. So, you know, bringing this post up to date, Tom's done a great job by doing that. But we had right at 100 people at that thing, and it was, from what I can hear from other people, I try not to judge myself too much. Sometimes I'm not tough enough on myself, but from what I can hear from other people, it went well, and I thank you guys that did support it, and look forward to doing some more events at the post. If you have any ideas, please reach out, but just remember we are under a pandemic now, so you know, keep that in mind, and if you have that idea, please be available to support that idea. I don't want to scare you away, but I can have good ideas, but I can't apply all the ideas that I have. So please reach out to me through email or my phone or whatever, or talk to me after the meeting, because we want to keep this post active. We want to keep this post one of the best posts in the whole Southeast, if not in the whole United States. Thank you, Commander.
Thank you, sir. So our service officer, Brian Blair, couldn't be here tonight. I will say that we've had probably a dozen contacts in the last couple of months for the service officer, including a member that got a letter that looked very legitimate from someone claiming to be the VA, saying that her husband owed $1,300. And so she called the post, and she was very upset because he hasn't even been served by the VA, and clearly this was not a good letter. And so Brian reached out to her and first calmed her down, and then helped her go through the steps to deal with that letter. Brian has also been looking for some assistance. We have a new member, Mike Madsen, who will be assisting Brian. He has been around the VA system for a long time. He has a lot of knowledge and a lot of contacts in the VA system. When he was here for Veterans Day, he was well known with the VA people who were here. And so I look forward to him helping as well. Children, Youth, Schools, and Champs, and 40 and 8, Paul Williams.
No change, Commander.
No change. All right. Sometimes those are the best reports. Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts, Mr. Clifton. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, sir. I have a little bit to report, not too much. Cub Scouts, PAC's been a little busy. We've had a couple campouts. They're staying active. Monday night, 7 o'clock. Any of your boys want to show up? Girls, whatnot, want to show up and join Cub Scouts? Feel free. We have had a couple new signees. They have a Christmas party coming up on December 14th. It's going to be district-wide. We've got people coming from Snellville, Lawrenceville, and a couple other areas, cities around the local area. That's going to be joining us for that. That's going to be a Monday night. They're asking if anybody has any Christmas lights that they can donate to use for the night. Let me know. We're going to put them up out there just so they can know where it's going to be at, so they can see where it's at. Boy Scouts. They're busy. They're very busy. They're nonstop. They're youth. They got a lot of energy. We're keeping them that way. Thank you, Stan, for including the Boy Scouts in the Veterans Day ceremony.
Thank you.
That was, they really appreciated that, and I think it inspired them a lot. They got to meet Jody Heiss, and we had a couple other distinguished guests that showed up that day. Our adults were impressed. Our adult leadership was really impressed with the whole thing. Most of those boys that come up from Scouts, I'd say over half of them wind up joining the service in one way or another. So it's an honor to be there for that. Also, we had our fall camporee. They were out camping. They won first place out of 6 other troops that were there that day. Cleanliness, skills, night time, and raising the flagpole, getting water boiled fast from scratch. They did an awesome job. as a skills test. They're hoping to go skiing this winter sometime. Okefenokee again we have planned. And last but not least, we don't have any signage for the Cub Scouts back here. And the Boy Scouts signage is faded really bad. We've had new members coming in asking to join for both of our troop and our pack here within the last month. I'd say we probably had about 10 to 12 people wanting to join between both of them, both organizations. For the pack, it's been hard getting people to figure out where they're meeting at, because it's kind of in the back there. They're wanting to get some signage back there just to show where they're located at, just like a notice over the door or something, maybe like what the troop has. The troop is wanting to get new signage too. We're asking for donations if anybody wants to donate. It's about $500 for each sign. We got 2 signs that we need. Other than that, I've got nothing else for you guys. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, sir. I'd also like to commend Matt in terms of signage. I put this out every couple of months, and I'll say it again. If you are a committee here, you're on a committee here, if you have something that you want up on our big sign up front, let me know. Matt reaches out and we put stuff up on the big sign, and I hope that that's helpful. And so that's available to any of our committees here and our youth organizations. All right, so we're going to skip around here a little bit. Boys State, we're not going to really have a report tonight. Bill Dolan's not here. They are planning on having it. They've got a new facility at Gordon State University, and more information will be coming. Sea Cadet, Sergeant Mason submitted a written report. I see Lieutenant Smith is here. She's making the no report sign. So that report will be in we'll go ahead and take that report. It'll be in the minutes. Civil Air Patrol, Captain DeVries, do you have anything for us?
Yeah. This evening, I have the opportunity to announce that one of my cadets made Cadet Staff Sergeant. So I now have a newly vetted Cadet Staff Sergeant, Sarah Corby. Congratulations to her.
Sarah, NCOs run the world.
This girl will, I promise you. If she, by heck or high water, this kid's gonna take over the world. All of my cadets, due to COVID, we've lost a lot of our membership. However, this evening we do have had the honor of welcoming future cadet Bradley to our unit as well. So hopefully we will continue this relationship and we'll be able to make him a fully vetted cadet. And we are meeting, however, we are under phase 1, which means that our senior membership has taken a hit quite physically. We cannot have anyone over the age of 65 per national, and that's Maxwell's Air Force's base, their decision on that. So if you were planning on coming down and seeing our building, I do apologize. If you're over the age of 65, I cannot allow you admittance, and it has nothing to do with me. It is completely on Maxwell's deal. Hopefully we'll continue back up, and once this COVID wave has passed, we'll be able to, again, welcome people to our unit. But I do know that several members of this area have expressed interest in assisting me with my radio program. And it's not that I don't want you, it's just unfortunately at this moment I cannot have you in my space. That's their decision. As soon as I am able to, I would love to have your experience and your knowledge base to come and join us. Again, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. So for the minutes, Captain DeVries hates old people.
That's not.
Yeah. So our historian is not with us tonight. For those of you that don't know, a few weeks ago, Steve Lindgren underwent heart surgery to replace a faulty valve in his heart. The surgery itself went fine. However, the aftermath did not. Steve has been on and off the respirator for the last couple of weeks. I'm in touch with his daughter. And so we're, keeping up with what's going on with Steve. But I'm sure he'll be back and he'll add all of his experience to our post history. And I certainly hope that's true. Color guard, Mr. Mahaffey. Sorry, I should have done this when you were up here before.
Since our last meeting, we've had 7 events. 4 of those were honoring our deceased veterans. And that's my report.
Thank you, sir. Any other committee reports? Did I miss any committee reports? I have a good list, so I don't think so, but, sir.
I'm not a committee chairman, but I am a point of contact for Georgia National Cemetery. Did I say a few words?
For $1? Come on. You can owe me. Mr. James Walters.
I'd like to add a postscript to what Mr. Brown said earlier regarding the wreaths across America. I'm a part of the Georgia National Cemetery Advisory Council. We've been told by the governing board in Washington, the National Cemetery Administration, that the wreath program at all national cemeteries will be spread over Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. That's the 17th, 18th, and 19th, Mr. Brown. So if you would like to contact me, I can give you contact information for the person with whom you need to speak. So do that. And for next year's budget, if we could allocate, and I think you already do, money each year for the wreath program, and we can direct that directly to Georgia National Cemetery instead of it going to Columbia Falls, Maine, and might get lost. So I can give you the contact information for your budget for this next year. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, James. All right, any other committee reports at this time? All right, moving on. Old business. I didn't see any in the minutes, but I'm asking any old business from the floor. New business. Any new business from the floor? I'll entertain a motion to donate $1,000 to the Boy Scouts to help with their signage. Anybody going to make that motion?
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second to give $1,000 to the Boy Scouts to help improve their signage. Any discussion? These kids are awesome. Thank you all very much. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carried. There you go, sir. Thank your kids for us. All right, so the only other new business we have, if there's nothing else from the floor, is the budget. And a lot of work has gone into this. Before I pull them up, let me just say that this committee that I'm sure he'll mention has put about 6 weeks worth of work into combing through 2 years worth of P&Ls to make this easy for you all. So if you didn't get a copy of the budget, now is a great time. It was available back there and it's very simplified. And so with no further ado, I'll bring up Fritz to talk about next year's budget.
I will be as succinct as possible with this. I hope that you have the budget there, and I would like to personally thank all the members that were a part of the budget committee. They're not all here, but Mike Burwell is here, and Tom Williams is here, and Dan Loneman is back here. We're missing Ken Lucier, and let's see, of course, Anisha's in there, being the Madam President for the Ladies Auxiliary. We met several times and went over the P&L for 2020 and 2019. And they really do vary substantially. If you'll think back, we lost the second quarter of 2020 due to the COVID-19 when we were closed down. Then we lost 2 weeks again in September. So it was hard for me to find a month that was after COVID attacked us where we could find some viable and figures to deal with. So what we have come up with here, and well, what I've given to them based on their remarks and on their advice, is what you have there. With our incomes, and again, these are just numbers. And until they're actually put into action, then they really don't mean that much of anything. We really can't predict exactly what it's going to be. So these are just numbers that we can come up with and hopefully live within it. And I will keep up with them for you. And the committee and I are going to meet every quarter, at the end of each quarter, so we can see where we are in our budget. And we'll keep up with the figures and stuff. I'll get a spreadsheet devised so that we can have these numbers written down. Our anticipated income, and I know this is greatly less than what we have had in the past, is $457,080. You'll notice on here with our incomes that dance is not included. I do not have the special events down on our incomes either. And the car show was quite successful. And when we had the golf tournament, it was also quite successful. But we really and truly, until things settle down with the COVID-19 virus and making sure that we're all safe, these are the things that you see as incomes that we deal with at the post when we're open. So these are our, I guess you could say, projected number here of that. Our expenses that we've got here, I made a note to you there. The fixed expenses are for those things that are going to happen whether we're open or closed. We have to have the licenses. We have to have the insurance. We have to have all these other things that are expected of us that just on a monthly basis. And I tried the best I could to come up with some kind of prognostication about, okay, based on what's going to be actually required of us and what we might not be able to do. If you go to the variable, which is on the second page of the budgets, and you can rip these things apart if you want to, so you can put them side by side and see what in the world's going on. The variables are things that are going to shift around as so far as needs and things are going to go with us. It's going to depend on the situation. So far as this is as close as we can come to what we think might be a realistic numbers with our variables. A couple of things that you might clarify for you is if you look down at the variables, it's got the kitchen expense of $35,000. That's not food. Okay, a lot of that stuff that you see, food and alcohol is up there above it at $40,000. But I've got the kitchen at $35,000 because we're trying to anticipate what we may have to experience. We got 2 refrigerators that are going bad and another one that's also in not such good shape out in the pavilion. Plus we've got a cooler that's in the bar that's for the drinks, and that's also kind of dicey. So it's an attempt to anticipate those expenses before we get to them. And if we need it, the money is there. Like Tom explained to you, we're working on a line of credit. If we I went by what we have just in our payments normally, it would be about the amount you got right there, $4,320. But if we went ahead and made the additional payments, we could go ahead and fill our line of credit again, and we'd have it all right there. Now remember that all these stuff that has to do, what you saw on the first page there in my report of the checking, the savings, and the line of credit, that's liquid. So if we need to have it, we've got it. Our intent is if we have to close down, again, because they can't get a handle on it or whatever happens to be the case, that we can make it for 6 months without having to be open and without having to worry about, can we reopen? Can we still function? Can we do all the things that we really want to do in helping the veterans and in helping the community here? And still be able to pay the things that we absolutely have to pay. The licenses and the stuff that goes with COAM and all the other things that we do around here, they're not an option. It has to happen. The donations that we've got are just suggestions. The money will be available to us. We may want to, if we find something that is more than what we've got budgeted, then all we have to do is say, okay, we'll bring it before the membership, and if somebody wants to raise that amount, then we can do it. It doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to spend every dime that we've got sitting there. just like in your own family budget, that you have this anticipation of how you're going to spend the monies that we have here in our possession. And to my knowledge, and I asked Jerry about this, if we had a budget before now, and he can't remember one, so I think that right now it's really important that we have one, just because of the conditions that we're operating in today's world. That we could go along and kind of bounce around and say, okay, we got the money, we don't have to worry about it, it's in the bank. But I think we need to have a little, I don't know, predetermined amount of monies, where it's going to come from, and expectations for that, and then where we're going to spend it. And I really can't thank the committee enough for taking their time, and a very highly qualified committee of people that are a part of our budget committee, and I want to really thank them for doing this for us. So, what do you want me to do now, Mr. Commander? Okay, are there any questions? Any doubts? Yes, sir.
I'm looking at the ATM. Clarify for me, please. What I'm looking at is a $2,000 income against a $5,000 expense.
Okay, the ATM income that's down there is your, those are the fees that we get from the ATM. Remember, with the ATM machine, money in, money out. And then we make money on the ATM machine. We kind of split the money with with our company, that's Cash Trans. It's a company that owns the ATM. On the variable, the fees is $5,000. We actually make money on that. I'll have to go back and redo that.
I can explain.
Okay, you can explain? Okay, go, Tom.
I'll explain that when we're done. Any other questions?
Other question? I can see how you ask about that. Yes, sir. In the back. Yes, sir.
Fritz, how are we doing on rentals? Without one of those sheets in front of me, which I neglected to get, how's rentals going?
Okay, rentals are what we did to increase the rental sales is we looked at what it's actually costing the post, and the rental sales are down, but not sales are down. Sales are I think will come back, but we don't really know what's happening with that. That's there again. We're limited by size of who can be and where. We can't rent that's down there. We lowered our prices for rentals to increase and the amount of rentals that come in here. So we lowered that. So we think that that's going to be coming up. We think it's going to grow, but again, it's like rentals have been hit by this pretty hard. This is an attractive place for people to come and rent, but and we've made the price so that it's very negotiable. But at the same time, people just don't want to get together for, in a closed condition like this. I don't think that it's paranoia. I think it's something, just respect for, it's like saying, okay, I don't know where they've been, and I love them, but I don't want to be around them. And it's happening to all of us, especially our age. Well, myself, I'll exclude myself, of course. Okay, Tom, you want to speak to the ATM?
Sure. All right, so quickly back on the rentals. It's only funny because I pulled these numbers last night. The actual number of rentals is up. And they're smaller. They're smaller rentals, but we're renting the space more often. Julie's doing a phenomenal job of getting people in here that don't want to have big events. And so over the past 3 months, we've had 10 events, netting the post about $3,000, which is not bad at all. We did lower our prices because we can have fewer people. Normally, when you price these events, you price them by the number of people your facility can hold. According to the state right now, this facility can hold 170 people. According to the fire marshal, it can hold 800 or 900. And so we adjusted our rates accordingly to allow people to rent this space for wakes and things. So even though you'll see the revenue is down over years past, the actual number of rentals is up. And so if that answers your question.
With Saturday nights being open, we all know that there's not dances anymore, but with Saturday nights being open, has that helped?
No, Saturday nights have not been a big seller. Actually, a lot of our rentals have been on Sundays and on Fridays. Saturdays during the day, a lot of the things that we've had have been people that are having small family events that don't want to have them in their home. Birthday parties, we had a 21st birthday party here this last weekend, and they generally rent the meeting room and the pavilion, which is a lower cost to them, but in the evenings, not so much. Now this weekend, we have 2 rentals going on at the same time here, one here in the main hall and one down there. And so even looking ahead at the projections, which is why I was looking, I think you'll see the rental business here is going to take off pretty tremendously. Does that help?
Yes, it did. I was concerned about, I know that by being a past vendor, we didn't do well with the Saturday night dances. And what I was concerned about, should we bring back on Saturday night dances if Saturday nights were being rented out? I mean, where's the scale fall?
And we'll have to play that by ear. My take on Saturday nights is, and has always been, even when I was your senior vice, there's a line where we have to go. The dances were a public service, and I still am taking half a dozen calls a week from people who are desperate for a place to rub belly buttons. And we just tell them we're not open for rubbing belly buttons in the time of COVID. And it was a break even. And I think anyone that's ever looked at our finances knows that across a year, the dances were delightful. I was here every Saturday night, but they were a break even. And we can't afford break evens right now. And so if we can rent the space for now, I think we rent the space, and then we'll have to make some hard decisions later. Back to the ATM. So the difference is when you go up and you take out $200 so that you can buy 50/50 tickets, there's a fee that gets associated with that. Part of that fee we keep, and part of that fee goes to the company that processes those transactions. So that expense you're seeing is really that's their portion of those transactions, right? That's them, what we're paying them to process that. So it really comes out of the total fee. It's not an additional expense to us, but we just wanted to make sure we showed that in and out. Does that help? Technically, we either should have shown that, we should have added that number back into the income and then shown it going out, or just dropped it all together. And we'll revisit that.
Yeah.
Right? I think it's a technical nit.
The way it makes sense, I guess. You understand it, I'm happy.
I would like everyone to understand.
So again, I think, and we'll fix that. I don't want to let that hold up the budget for tonight, but I promise we'll fix that and we'll revisit it next month, okay? Again, it should have probably been shown in both places. Any other questions about the budget? All right, and so I would like to entertain a motion now to approve this budget pending some changes for that for next month, but let's go ahead and get this approved so we have something to operate on. I have a motion to approve the budget. I have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, all in favor of approving the 2021 budget? Any opposed? Budget carries. Nice job.
Let's have a drink.
All right.
Let's say one. That's it. I think that's good. Right. Yeah, go.
All right. Any other new business from the floor? Wow, we're running later than I normally do. All right. We're in the good of the order. Anything from the floor from the good of the order before I give out some awards? Awesome. Okay. He's not here tonight. But this year we decided that we would give out an Employee of the Year. That's not something we've done in the past, but we've had some standout employees this year. It's a weird time with COVID, and our employees are crucial to our success. I don't think a lot of people understand what the bartenders do, what the people who work bingo do to keep our customers happy, to keep them coming back here. Without our employees treating our customers well and making them happy, we wouldn't have a business. And if we didn't have a business, we couldn't help people. And so our employees are really important. It was a hard choice this year. There were several good candidates. I will say that this person was always looking to figure out how to improve our revenues, to the point of frustration, actually. Like, how much are we making on this? And how much are we making on that? And so, but we answered those questions, and I think that that's been helpful. Also looking to figure out how to reduce our expenses. In this employee's area, expenses have dropped over 50% since he took over. And I think that that's a big deal. He's focused on the larger mission. And for an employee, that's an amazing thing. I often remind our employees what it is we do here while they're working bingo or they're working the bar. This person gets it. And so although he's not here, I will say he's more than an employee, he's also a Legionnaire. And so our employee of the year, and I'll give this to him later, was Mr. Frank Beebe, Duke, who runs our kitchen. All right. So since I am still the Sons of the Legion Commander, I get to also pick the Son of the Year. This was an easier choice because enthusiasm is key here, right? And so we have a son who is, first of all, a natural volunteer. There hasn't been a single moment that I've known him that he hasn't stepped up and volunteered to help with any event that we have. He's a leader in enthusiasm. I put out a call to the sons and asked for some help and some ideas, and this person came to a meeting full of ideas and full of excitement. And more than that, he's a voice for the future of this post. I don't think a lot of people understand how important the Sons organization is. There are only so many veterans. It's a small pool. But the Sons of the Legion and the Auxiliary, those are huge potential organizations, and they will keep this place going in between the times that we have large wave of volunteers. And so, I should like very much to present to our Sons Member of the Year, Mr. Jeremy Page. Would you come down front, Jeremy? Jeremy rocks. He's also a rider. We don't let him ride his own bike yet, but we're working on it. Thank you, sir. Take care. All right, so since I'm already up here. So next up will be Orty Brown to give the Rider of the Year award. Orty?
All right, this was a drawn-out process. This was a very difficult, but every year it's a tradition that we come up with a Rider of the Year. And out of 54 members, it could easily go to anyone actually, because everybody do a whole lot for our organization and make us as great as we are. But this one individual, he's like the man behind the scenes, the man in the kitchen, testing and making sure all the food is good before it comes out when we were doing the country breakfasts. But he's the man behind the scene doing everything though, actually. He sets up our meeting rooms, he makes sure everything is in line, and it's well deserved to have him on your team. I know I joke with him a whole lot. He's Navy, I'm Army, so I mess with him a lot. But Greg, come on up.
Yeah.
And I just want to thank you for all your hard work and dedication that you do for the American Legion Riders. Everything you do is not going unnoticed. Everyone notice what you do, the big things and the small things. And eyes are always on you, and you're the one that always steps up for us. And so it's proud to announce you as the 2020 American Legion Rider of the Year. So, in honor.
Thank you, sir.
Here's a little token of our appreciation.
Thank you. I told her I just
And
Awesome.
all right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ray.
Thank you, man.
So I've had the benefit of watching several other commanders do this. This is probably the hardest decision that a commander has to face, actually, in a world of hard decisions, is picking Legionnaire of the Year. As always, I think when you start thinking about it right away, several people spring to mind, candidates that have done things through the year. This was a very strange year because we had half the year that was pre-COVID and half the year that was during the COVID thing. And so I looked back at the whole year and I said, who has stood out? Who is it that has, really distinguished themselves through selfless service to our veterans, to our post, and to their fellow Legionnaires? The person I've chosen this year truly embodies the notion, core to our creed, of devotion to helpfulness. I have never yet asked for something that this person didn't step forward to take on. And our Legionnaire of the Year this year is Mr. Jeff DeVries.
Oh, yeah.
Also, he totally hates this. So, we have some hardware for you. We have the requisite tack, which you can put right there in your t-shirt. We also have this lovely plaque for you, and then your certificate. And thank you so much for all you do. Again, I can't say enough about what this man has done. There's not a picture I have of an event here at the post that he's not in the background, and that's the way he likes it. And just for tonight, just because I'm the commander, that's too damn bad. Thanks, Marine, for everything. All right, take care. His wife just said that had nothing to do with me. She's right. She's right. All right, so our next meeting is a bit of a sticky wicket. Because our next meeting is also Election Day again, it turns out. And so I'll be working with the folks. I'm gonna go ahead and leave it on the books for now to see if we can figure it out. So go ahead and pencil in January 5th. Again, we'll have a meal. I can't promise it'll be this good, although some of this may be left over. And we'll see. All right, do I have a motion to adjourn? I got a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second? Seconded, awesome. Captain of the Color Guard.
Flag of our country, in place of honor, right hand salute. Two.
All right, standing in for our chaplain. Will you give us a prayer out? Everybody uncover, please.
Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you again tonight to give you thanks and praise for all the things that we were able to accomplish here tonight. We pray that you bless the people like Jeff that make this post work really well. And like all the other people, the Legion Riders, the Legion Rider of the Year, we know that what these guys do, we ask that you continue to bless these people to make this post again great in the year of 2021. We ask that you be with us during this holiday season. We know what this holiday season is about. We ask that you continue to remind us to keep you in our hearts. We also ask that you be with our troops that continue to provide our country with success and be with them and their families when they're not here at home with us. Guide us back home tonight safely and be with us forever. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Please recover. As we do every year, the ladies have provided a lovely dessert for us, and there's coffee, including decaf. So please stay and enjoy some fellowship. And I now declare this meeting of American Legion Post 233, the Department of Georgia, regularly adjourned, for real this time.